Hey folks, it's Abby from Abby of Pellinor. Right now is my lunch break, and instead of eating my salad, I'm going to tell you what I plan to read in the month of July. So July is hopefully not going to be too busy of a month for me. I'm actually pre-filming this TBR because I'm having to go down to Brighton for work, which is completely ruining all of my reading plans. How very dare they? But they're paying for the hotel and the train, so I shouldn't complain too much. But yes, so I have a lot of books that I want/need to get to at some point in July, so let's just dive straight in. First up is a book that has been on my TBR for a long time now. Like 9 years? Am I exaggerating? Possibly. I got this in like 2015-ish. Maybe 2016. And that is The Witchfinder Sister by Beth Underdown. This is what it sounds like. There is a Witchfinder, we are following his sister, and she obviously doesn't side with all of his nonsense about murdering all of the women. This is quite a short read. It is only about 350 pages, so it should be nice and easy to blast through, and it'll be really nice to actually finish this. I'm very intrigued. It's set in 1645, so it is going to be historical fiction. I don't think it has any actual magic in it. I think it is just historical, but it's the sort of historical that intrigues me, so I'm looking forward to reading that. And then another one that's going to be right up front at the start of my reading month, and that is Chlorine by Jade Song, and this is an arc that was sent to me by the wonderful people over at Footnote, and it comes out on the 6th, I believe? Yes, the 6th of July in the United Kingdom. This, to summarise it very simply, is essentially horror mermaids. Very excited for this one. It sounds dark, it sounds interesting, it's got that magical twist that I love. It's also super short, although the writing is a little smaller in this one. But I'm just really excited to dive into this one and to hopefully get some content out there and tell you guys whether you should be picking this one up. Fingers crossed the answer will be yes. But yeah, if you are already interested, this is compared to The Pisces and The Vegetarian. The Vegetarian is one I wanted to pick up and sounds really dark, so But yeah, if you are interested, it's coming out on the 6th of July this year. Very excited to dive into this one. It'll be the first book that I pick up because it's being published so soon in the month. This is one of my 12 in 12s, and it is The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. Oh, this has been on my TBR for a long time now. It's in the markets of 18th century Cairo. Thieves, tricksters, con artists and outcasts eke out a living, swindling rich nobles and foreign invaders alike. I've heard nothing but amazing things about this series. I can't believe it's taken me this long to get to, and I always need at least one chunky book on my TBR, so that'll be this one. Then my Waypoint Full Moon box, which I did an unboxing of. If you want to watch it, I think it's in that corner. That came with 2 books and I want to read them, so I've put them straight into my July TBR. The first one is Chilling Effect by Valerie Valdes, and this is a space opera that involves a psychic cat, alien emperors and kidnappers. So I am like 100% here for the vibes on this one. The cats are goddamn adorable. It sounds like a good time, so I'm gonna have a good time. This is what I needed. This irresistible debut space opera introduces a smuggler crew, the likes of which you've never seen before. So it sounds fun. And I am excited to dive in. Anything with cats, anything with cats. The other book that I got was Jade City by Fonda. Why does someone have to drill now? It is the middle of the afternoon, good sir. Go to work. I live on a residential estate. It's reminiscent of when I used to live in that building site at uni. But yes, Jade City by Fonda. This is in a universe where Jade, consuming Jade or wearing Jade, I'm not sure of which, I don't know, but either consuming or wearing Jade gives you power, but it's only certain people who can do that. But then there's been some way found of it being able to give anyone power, and they're like, oh no, not the powerless people, and it's that whole dynamic. Very excited. Then there is Scarlet by Genevieve Cogman. This is the Goldsboro GSFF book for June. I am filming this on the 27th of June, and there is still not even a sign of it. No potential of it turning up anytime soon. I have given up on the idea of these boxes actually coming in the month that they're supposed to. So I'm just hoping that it rocks up at some point in July. I'd love to get my June book in July at some point. That would be nice. I am starting to get annoyed at that. I've had some not so great interactions with Goldsboro about how their boxes have been delayed. They were really prompt and really great at the start. Same sort of timescale as Illumicrate, in that like you get it at the end of the month that the book is meant to be in. but it's the 27th and I haven't even had any sort of notification about it, no email about it, nothing. So I won't be getting that till July. Last time I didn't get it until, the last time it was like super delayed, I didn't get it until like the 18th of the next month. So they really seem to be slipping. I wonder if they're getting too big for their own boots. I'm not sure. But regardless, Scarlet, this is a Les Miserables retelling. So that should be interesting because I am also still reading, I left it downstairs because I'm reading it, but I am still reading Les Miserables. There's a little hint for my June wrap-up is I have finished volume 1. So there you go, a little sneak peek. So yeah, volume 2 is downstairs because I'm reading it right now. But I'm still reading the original. And part of me is annoyed that I'm going to be reading this before I finished it, but it was one of my things that I wanted to keep up with the Goldsboro box and to read them as they come in. So I'm just gonna have to live with that and it'll be fine. Second to last is the very final book I will be reading for the Don't Forget Your Towelathon. We have no idea when the next live is going to be. People have been having very mixed thoughts about this series. Or I shouldn't say mixed, it's just most of us aren't enjoying it. But I want to read And Another Thing by Eoin Colfer. This is the 6th and final book in the trilogy and the only one not written by Douglas Adams. I've really enjoyed other things that I've read by Eoin Colfer, primarily his Artemis Fowl series. So this should be fun to dive into. It should be nice and easy to read. Obviously this is very different to my other editions, but this doesn't come in the set. Douglas Adams books come together, usually with Eoin Colfer's completely separately, and this is actually my partner's copy, because he got this pretty much at release. I think this is a first, yeah, this is a first edition, so he got this in 2009. So I might as well read that rather than buying my own. But yeah, so it'll be fun to read Eoin Colfer's writing again. It'll be interesting to see how he utilises the characters that I've obviously come to learn a lot more about over the past 5 books. So that'll be interesting. So we'll see. And I just want to round out the series because, you know, I might as well, especially with the fact it's in the house. It just sits on my partner's shelves here. Oh my god, I completely forgot. How did I completely forget? How did I completely forget? I also want to read Sense and Sensibility. How did I forget that? I'm also wanting to read Sense and Sensibility. It is Jane Austen July. There are multiple folks running it. I know that Hannah from Letter M is doing some real long shenanigans, as well as a really cool video that you should keep an eye on, just FYI, that's going to come out soon. But yes, I want to read Sense and Sensibility. I haven't read it yet. There's a few books from Jane Austen I haven't read. Sense and Sensibility is the first one in this collection. It's usually the first in most collections. I also haven't read Mansfield Park, Emma, or Sanditon, which I don't actually have in this, I don't believe, so I'll have to get a separate copy of that at some point. But yes, I'm going to read Sense and Sensibility. I've been told that it is very similar to Pride and Prejudice and was basically like the first draft of Pride and Prejudice, so I enjoyed that, so it should at least be enjoyable. Now, back to your regular scheduled Abby. The final section of this TBR, running through this nice and quickly, is the fact that for the Total Bollocks read-along, readathon, reader whatevers that we are doing for July, the prompt is nostalgia. So for me, obviously that is a reread. You can interpret the prompt any which way you want to. If you want to read something that's from an author that's nostalgic for you and it's still a new book, like go for it. I could have done that, I guess, and read some Derek Landy. There's 2 books I haven't read of his. But I thought I'd go for the reread, and I am undecided which book I will reread. So I have, there's 3 options here. The option which will be the fastest to read is Kittens in the Kitchen by Lucy Daniels. In the Animal Arc series, it follows a young girl whose parents are vets and she goes around saving loads of animals. Very quick, very easy to read. The writing in this is huge. I read these as kids. These are my little kids options, kids copies. I've got them all up there. I absolutely love them. They will be very, very quick to blast through. So that's a potential. Another one that is very nostalgic for me and for my mum, and that is why she got me to read them, and that is the Famous 5 books, the first one being 5 on a Treasure Island by Enid Blyton. Famous 5 is a group of 4 children who go off and solve adventures and a dog. Basically, like, if you're American, you'll know Scooby-Doo more than you know Famous 5. This is the archetype that Scooby-Doo was based off of, essentially. I love both. Scooby-Doo, oh, it's so good. I love Scooby-Doo. But yeah. It's based off of this, essentially. Very old-fashioned, just given the time that it was originally written in. First published in 1942. So that'll give you the vibes for this one, but I adored reading these as a kid, and this first one is always fun with the boat and everything. I don't want to spoil too much if you haven't read them for some reason. But yes, so this is also going to be a quick read, not quite as quick as Kittens in the Kitchen, but still pretty speedy, so that's a potential one. And then the final option is one that, again, I haven't read any of these in years, but I feel like I should reread this, and that is Goodnight, Mr. Tom by Michelle Magorian. As you can see by this copy, this is my original childhood copy. It's very dilapidated. This will be a lot slower of a reread compared to these. But it's a book that I absolutely adored as a kid. Wow, this copy really is bad. But yeah, I haven't read it in years. I loved this. This is set during World War II, and we follow an evacuee who is sent out to the countryside. And he lives with this old man who really didn't want to have to take an evacuee in, but he's basically tricked and manipulated and forced into doing it. He just falls in love with this little boy and this family that they create, and back in London with his mother, the little boy was being quite severely abused. And it's the story of how they come to trust each other and both come out of their shells and both kind of help each other deal with their past trauma. I haven't talked about this book since I've had that language and that knowledge to kind of speak about it in this manner, which is very weird, but that's also partly why I want to go back to it, because obviously I recognise all these themes at the time, but I would love to delve into them with an adult gaze and see what comes of it in my head, like reading it as an adult and comparing how I read it as a kid, because I first read that when I was 7-ish? I was very, very young when I first read it. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see my viewpoint on it now. And with some of them being upside down, but with me being lazy, that is my July TBR. So just blasted nice and quickly through these. But yeah, let me know. Have you read any of these? Are you going to read any of these? And if you're going to join us in the Total Bollocks read-along, which by the way will be on my channel at the end of July, so it will be right back here for the live show. What do you want to read that's nostalgic? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching, folks, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!